Here's Brodie Brazil.
For most pilots, everything that they experience early on is from the left side of an airplane, right? That's where the pilot in command sits. That's what an airplane is designed for. The person doing all the training and flying always sits on the left side. So now I'm here with this video about flying from the right seat and some associated tips that come along with it. Before I get to those, let me just first say congratulations, because if you're watching this video, you're likely making the transition and you're likely training for your flight instructor certificate, or you've just become a CFI and you really want to get more comfortable on the right side than all of the time that you have sitting from the left side. So congratulations again. I'm assuming these are your first steps at becoming a professional pilot. Second, it truly is amazing how a few short feet from left to right can entirely change your perspective and can also entirely change your comfort level. And by that, I mean this. Third, my heart was absolutely racing the first pattern I ever flew from the right seat back in early 2008. I remember the airport. It was Sacramento Executive. And I'm looking over here in a left pattern across the airplane thinking, how am I going to get this thing down? It's just everything felt, backwards and different and awkward. So there's nothing wrong with those feelings. But fourth overall here is that over time, you're going to fly so much from the right seat as an instructor and as a professional pilot that you will actually even prefer the right seat when you're flying solo. You hop in an airplane to ferry it or whatever, you're just going to sit in the right seat because that is now what you're accustomed to. And sure, can you hop back in the left and do the job just equally? Yeah. But the right seat is what you might actually start preferring, as hard to believe as it is right now. So let's get into these factors here. Number one, the tip for moving left to right is that you're learning new muscle memory. It is as simple as that. You already know how to land an airplane. You already know crosswind techniques. You already know power settings. These are the same techniques. They're just new hand pressures. And obviously, from the left seat, you go from left hand on the yoke, right hand on the throttle, to all of a sudden right hand on the yoke and left hand on the throttle. New hand pressures, that right hand's going to feel a lot different than throttle. Now it's holding a yoke or a control wheel. And yes, this will feel weird at first. You're going to feel like a student pilot learning to land all over again, but not for long. Don't worry, this isn't going to take as long as your original training. Know the inconveniences when you move from the left seat to the right seat. Like I said before, the entire left-hand side of the airplane is designed for the person flying it. Even the keys, the ignition, the master switch, the master avionics switch, the instruments, all the radios, everything is generally on the left-hand side of most general aviation airplanes. So when you're on the right side, understand that you're going to be doing a lot of glancing over, especially during instrument flight. Your neck is going to start hurting from all that kinking over to kind of see exactly what's going on over there. You're also quickly going to understand what parallax error is. Now, this is for steam gauges, certainly not for glass. And by the way, glass is nicer in these situations because you also have usually a duplicate copy of the left, or you can flip-flop the MFD and the PFD. But with steam gauges, everything viewed from not directly in front of the instrument is going to look a little bit different. Where the needles are and what they're indicating is going to be different from over here as opposed to if you're in the left seat and it's straight ahead. I'm not going to go into that too deep here, but just understand there is something called parallax error, and that is how you view the instruments differently from a different angle. And even inconveniences like some airplanes don't have a push-to-talk button on the right control wheel. There's only one on the left. So you may find yourself during flying, putting your thumb on the other yoke to key in on the radio. So just know all of those things. It's not just the flying, but the inconveniences that come along with them. Here's something very important as you transition. Yeah, the center line is on your other side. Like when you're taxiing, when you're landing the airplane, a lot of times you would put that center line on your right thigh. Just realize now you're flip-flopping everything. Now you're putting those lines on your left thigh. And let me also suggest this. For your first couple landings or when you're taxiing, and you're learning to fly from the right seat until you're really, really comfortable, do the same thing as when you were a private pilot. Start on big and wide runways. Give yourself, the platform and the opportunity for success early on. Okay, so now that you're flying from the right side, it's not just the simple stuff. If you're going for your CFI or your CFII, I mean, you're going to need to know all of the maneuvers, not just the takeoffs and landings, but you're going to have to do everything up to the commercial ACS. Or again, if this is your instrument training, if you're becoming an instrument instructor, you'll have to fly instrument approaches from the right side, just like I did with the steam gauges on the left. That parallax, it really is a thing. So just know that all the levels of training that you've achieved on the left-hand side, that's what you're aiming to now accomplish on the right-hand side. You don't want to be a really good pilot from the left side and a really marginal pilot from the right side. You have to do everything up to the expected standards. And yeah, you know what? Don't get frustrated. This is going to take a little bit of time. It's not going to be hard, though. It may feel difficult and abnormal at first, but you're going to get there. Just don't let it escape your mind that this is actually something that is brand new. Flying from the right seat. I really hope those tips helped you out here. If they did, like this video, let me know in the comments section below. Or if I missed something else, if you've got something you think is valuable, put that down here, and I can't wait to read those.